Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I am recording this episode for the second time because I did not realize that the great game content does not appear if you don't set yourself up in great game mode. I'm used to just automatically clicking sandbox, and I didn't even realize it was there until it was the end of 1836, and I'm like, hold on, I need to look online and figure out how to trigger the great game. But now I know. We've got a continue on your path thing over here that's in the journal. The journal entries are good to go. So let's take a look at what's different starting as Russia in 1836. We got a new map, obviously. We've got our fancy new font. This map is a lot less decorated and the sea is much more orange, but that's okay. Other stuff, we've got the Balkan governorates, that's cool. We've got the Grand Duchy of Finland over here. Kishi Juz, Orta Juz, and Uli Juz are protectorates, but Circassia and the Caucasian Imamate are free. And on top of that, neither of them is in our customs union, which is called a power block now, which is fun. There's gonna be a lot going on with that. Take a little bit of a look at the country. The landowners have got a lot of power, and that's exactly the way we want it. We are Nikolai Romanov, the Tsar. And by the way, our goal here is going to be to maintain the power of the Tsars at any and all cost. This is probably going to lead to us doing some very, very silly politics, but that's the way it is. And you know, if somehow we just kind of bumble backwards into communism, that'll happen. These things do happen. So I'm just making that visible to you so that you'll know we're not necessarily going to shoot for the historical path, but we're going to try to stay the main old autocratic monarchy of Europe for as long as we can, and we're just going to kind of see how that goes. As you can see, the country is in a little bit of a dire state from a reform perspective. We do have an autocratic monarchy with national supremacy and state religion, so it's a very closed culture. We got a peasant levy army that's kind of terrible, but we're going to have to get rid of that eventually, so it is what it is. We got traditionalism, we got mercantilism, we got land-based taxation, we've got serfdom. We don't have slavery. Slavery has been banned in Russia, functionally, and we have no social welfare system to speak of. We do have propertied women, so you know we're doing what we got to do. Government consists of just the gentry assembly. That's completely fine with me. Let's get building stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's running differently now in the new update, and we're just going to kind of experience that as it shows up. I'm going to throw, because we're doing a big regressive regime, I'm going to throw taxes on clothes, services, and furniture. We got a little bit more authority, so let's throw some on wine. And that'll be that. And we'll get started with, let's see. We don't have a construction tab anymore. We're going to go to iron frame construction immediately, and I'm going to build a few more construction sectors. We'll build a couple in Saratov and a couple in Rostov. And between them, we'll throw down some additional iron mines. Now let's build them. Saratov already has a bunch, and Samara has a few. We'll throw down 3 in Samara and 4 in Saratov. Construction queues over here now, so we'll put the construction sectors for Rostov at the bottom, and we'll only do 3 in Saratov. That'll be fine. That'll be enough, and then we're going to queue in some government admin, because I am really, really short on bureaucracy right now. Alright, here we go. The great game has started, so I'm going to pause that while I queue in some more government admin. Let's see here. Administration, we're going to focus on places where we've got a lot of labor available and are also low on taxation capacity. So do 3 in Tiflis. We'll do 2 in Saratov. We'll do 3 in Samara, 1 in the Urals, 2 in Kharkiv. That'll be enough for now. We'll do 2 more in Kursk. That should be enough to be going on with. So we've got a lot of things going on here with the Great Game. We got a bunch of things. So I'm going to take you through what's going on with these. One thing that's already going on is we've got the Caucasian War. Current status of the Caucasian War is the conflict burns at a slow pace, waged mostly through raids and incursions. Description of the event chain is as follows. Our territorial ambitions in the Caucasus Mountains are being set back by fierce local resistance. We must crush all remaining resistance in order to secure our southern border and open the territories up for settlement. Once the rifling and logistics technologies are researched, it will be possible to escalate the war and launch a full-scale invasion of the rebellious states. So once again, in order to, just as it says below, in order to escalate the Caucasian War, we need to have, again, the Kuban, Dagestan, and North Caucasus states be split, or at least one of them needs to be split, and have part of it belong to either Circassia or the Caucasian Imamate. And then we need to have rifling and logistics researched. And once we do, that will eliminate our truce with Caucasian Imamate and Circassia, because right now we have a truce with both of these countries for 20 years. So we're going nowhere fast in this war if we don't do that. So right away, I'm going to start researching general staff. Because I'm not in any hurry with that stuff, and general staff is an absolute necessity. We have to have general staff. We have to have skirmish infantry. We have to be able to challenge other European powers on equal footing. After that, we're going to go to the Atmo pump engine. We're going to finish Lathe, and then we're going to do the Atmo pump engine. And that's just critical to our needs here. So, that's the Caucasian War. It's something we're going to have to handle eventually. Probably we'll do it once we get into the 40s. But let's talk about the Great Game. Progress toward the left of the bar will benefit Great Britain, while progress towards the right will benefit Russia. Beginning in the early 19th century, the Great Game has emerged as a generic term for conflicts between Great Britain and Russia for influence over Central Asia and its surroundings. With both governments regarding a comprehensive military victory against the other to be impossible, the Great Game has come to be waged through a series of indirect battles for leverage over countries on the line between both nations. Victories: Caucasian War, inconclusive. Afghan Protectorate, inconclusive. Influence over Persia, inconclusive. Advances: Russia enforce the Treaty of Turkmenchay. Britain's successful expedition to Bukhara. Will complete if at least one of these. The Great Game is concluded with every country in the Caucasus, Central Asia, and Persia's strategic regions as a subject or power bloc member of either Russia or Great Britain, and or the rank of Great Britain is less than great power. If completed, the outcome of the Great Game will depend on the balance of the progress bar up here. Triggers the event stalemate. Great Britain gets the event stalemate, and this is because we're right in the middle here. Will fail if at least one of these. We are not in a power block. We have not been the leader of a power block for 60 consecutive months. Rank of Russia is less than great power, or all of these. A country with its capital state in Central Asia or Persia has achieved recognized status and a rank of major power or above. And neither Russia nor Great Britain have any subjects or owned states in the Central Asia or Persia strategic regions. So, we'll need to do that. We're gonna need some influence to play around with. I'm almost assuredly going to be rivaling Great Britain in this run, so we'll just go ahead and do that. I'm also going to target the Netherlands. They're a pretty safe country to rival. From here, I'm going to improve relations with Finland, Prussia, Austria, and my protectorates over here in the Caucasus. That's going to be basically all of our influence. I'm just doing the same thing that I did last time through here before I realized that there was a great game I needed to play, and in order to play it, I needed to do this. So, I'm going to take you through these other events in a moment. So next, secure the Afghan Protectorate. The mountainous borderlands between the Indian subcontinent and the steppes of Central Asia hold the key to establishing a solid and advantageous border against our rival. To secure protection of our subjects and a route to assail our opponents, we must acquire stable subjects throughout the Afghan region. We'll complete if all Pashtun or Tajik countries in the Persian strategic region are our subjects, and we establish and maintain a subject relationship with all Afghan nations for 10 years. If completed, the balance in the Great Game will shift towards Russia by 25 points. Will fail if exactly 100% of eligible countries are recognized. And eligible means strategic region is Persia, Tajik is primary culture, Pashtun is primary culture. So we need to get these countries controlled before they get recognition. That's the path. Secure the Persian border. The presence of insurgent states in the North Caucasus threatens our control over the region and by extension our ability to project power in the Middle East. The long-running Caucasian War must come to an end that is favorable to our nation. We'll complete if the Caucasian War journal entry has been successfully completed. Balance of the Great Game will shift towards Russia by 15 points. Will fail if the Caucasian War journal entry has failed. If failed, the balance of the Great Game will shift towards Great Britain, 15 points. All right, so this is how the Caucasian War event affects Russia. So actually, I think it hurts. I really want the Atmo Pump engine, but I might need to hold off on that while we bang out logistics and rifling. Well, we're going to need percussion campanile, so we'll go there first, and hopefully logistics will spread to us. We currently have paddle steamer spreading, which is really, really rough, but it is what it is. It's necessary. It's the only tier 1 in our militaries. Finally, secure influence over Persia. Rich in wealth and resources, Persia also serves as a springboard for armies bound for the Indian and Central Asian heartlands. Any great power with stakes in these regions would be wise to secure this land for themselves, and wiser still, to deny it to their adversaries. We'll complete if we establish and maintain a subject relationship with Persia for 10 years. If Iraqi Kajimi is owned by Persia or its subjects, same for Tabriz and Hormuz. Those are big important states in Persia. Iraqi Kajimi is here. That's where Tehran is, the capital of Persia. Tabriz is here. Hormuz is... Where's Hormuz? My Persian geography is weak, it turns out. Hormuz is here. Oh, that's right. This is because this is the Straits of Hormuz. I'm a big smarty, y'all. And then at least one of these, any Russian strait... Russia has control over Arabistan, which is here. Is it? Hold on. Where is Arabistan? I may be dumb. It's around here somewhere. It's here. It's all held by Shushtar, by the country of Arabistan. Well, the country of Muhammara. All right. I knew it was around here somewhere. Okay, I'm not completely off base here. Any Russian subject or their subjects state region is Arabistan. So this will give us 25 points towards the Great Game as well. Great Game status currently is minus 0.1 average monthly progress. Currently, due to prestige balance and GDP balance. Okay, so increasing our GDP is going to be useful. Let's go ahead and declare a few more interests. We've got all the interests over here that we need. Let's throw one in Himalayas and North India. And throw one in Arabia and Nile. One in Scandinavia. One in North Africa. And that'll be what we need for that. And I think that's all of the basics. Wait, hold on. I don't want to be damaging relations with the Netherlands. I want to be their rival. I'm going to get influence here. Alright, there we go. That's better. So what do I want to do with all this extra influence? Let's go ahead and improve relations with our other subjects. The Baltic protectorates. And... could right away take a run at Persia. I don't think I'm going to do that, but the temptation is high. I can't do anything from a trade perspective until my bureaucracy is larger, because I need to have the necessary bureaucracy to support the trade routes. Put our ports on cargo port. Let's go ahead, and some of our livestock ranches are dysfunctional. Increasing their tooling is not going to matter. Let's see. Some of these food industries are also not as productive as they should be. Let's go ahead and enable sweeteners for a couple of these places, and that should help. We have a ton of sugar in the market. Just oodles and oodles of sugar. And then furniture manufactories, I can't do lathe until I've got lathe, so that's just going to have to be what it is. We got one of our tools in Mazovia using wooden tools. We're going to go ahead and swap that over to wrought iron, just so that I don't have to look at it showing different production methods, because I don't like that. Equipment's rivaling us. Okay, nobody's shocked by that. All right. Get the game speed going here. Once we've got our government situation sorted out, I think increasing the size of our universities is going to have to be a priority, because... Hello. What's going on here? Moldavia requests that we support their independence. Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. That's fine. That's just fine. I'll support their independence. Did I make them a protectorate? Caucasian supply convoy raided. Event in Kuban. A convoy dispatched to provide needed ammunition and supplies for our forces in Kuban has been ambushed by the forces of Circassia. In the struggle, much of its cargo was lost. By the time the relief force had arrived, the bodies had already begun to rot, men and horses entangled where they had fallen, their belongings stripped and carried away by enterprising hands. As they lay there, the highway was not been a territory of Russia, nor of any man at all. For its subjects were maggots, and its sovereign the Lord of the Flies. There's a little bit of a grammar issue there. We'll figure out what to say there next time. Let's see. So we can seize resources from the locals to make up for the deficit. 10% devastation in Kuban. Minus 20% infrastructure, 5% mortality. Or hold fast and wait for a better protected convoy. Minus 30% infrastructure, 7.5% mortality. I think we got to do the second. I think putting devastation in Kuban is just going to be a total no-go. We cannot have too much devastation here, because we need to make sure that we don't have huge mortality, because that's going to reduce standard of living and create radicals. And we can't have too many radicals, because we need to win the Caucasian War. We need to have low radicals. And radicals in those areas are already a little high. Taxes are low. We could increase taxes, but I'm doing just fine for cash right now. We lost and won ties with Cape Colony, which is just fine. I'd love to reduce the autonomy of one of my subjects here. Is that still a thing I can do? Ban slavery. Unavailable demands. Can't annex because they're not a puppet. Where's reduced autonomy? This is different. Subjugate. Not a subject of another nation. Okay, so that's not where that is either. Diplomatic actions. Overlord actions? Okay, here we go. Decrease autonomy is an overlord actions. I need them to have lower liberty desire. And this bumps their liberty desire up. Alright. So that's... And adds liberty desire to other subjects. Oh, okay, so I can't just have... I can't just subjugate and then reduce the autonomy of countries willy-nilly like I used to do. Yes, Netherlands is rivaling us as well. Shocking turn of events. No one could have foreseen this. Completely unforeseen. Definitely not a natural extension of the way things are going. All right, so let's take a look at our subjects a little more. I still think increasing relations is good. Baltic governorates is reducing autonomy a lot. Ooh. Failed incursion into the Caucasian Imamate. An incursion we've launched from Russian North Caucasus into the territory claimed by the Caucasian Imamate has failed. The units dispatched have withdrawn... are you done screaming? Can you please stop screaming while I am reading the event text, please? The event text, sir. Thank you. I know you're losing a leg, but there's very important politics happening here. The units dispatched have withdrawn after suffering heavy losses among the rough Caucasian terrain. They were in the trees. They had to have been warned before we began. They waited for us to be engulfed in that damned forest before opening fire on us. The major fell first and our horses were cut down. How are we to manage this, sir? How are we to take this land when we cannot say we control any land outside that shadowed by our own feet? Cover the retreat with fire and cannon. 15% mortality of servicemen. 5% of Circassian pops become more radical. And 15% devastation. Or withdraw the forces and quietly regroup. This one's going to make our armed forces big mad. How mad are the armed forces are not happy with us. I think we have to recover the retreat with fire and cannon. So earlier I said we were not going to be throwing a bunch of devastation into the Caucasian states, and I'm immediately going back on that. But it is what it is. We gotta do as we're doing. Great game progress is doing okay. I mean, we haven't gotten far. It's only June. I'm going to be going to the buildings tab looking for the construction queue for a long time, friends. I think we're going to throw... We've got 2 buildings under construction at this time. I think we're going to throw the rest of these construction sectors up here so that they get started. Nah, we'll put them here. We'll get them started as soon as we can. Okay, so we've got a diplomatic play happening. We've got Persia going after Kandahar. You're going to return Kandahar to Bampur. That's interesting. So, Kandahar will accept being subjugated if I help them. Persia will not. They would accept a trade agreement, which could be nice. Or they would allow us to subjugate Kandahar. It's interesting. I think I'm going to get a little aggressive here with Persia, and I'm going to subjugate Kandahar diplomatically here. And we'll see if they say yes, and if they do... No, Korea's got an anti-Russian association. How could you do this? Alright, Kandahar has accepted our support. Persia has not much of an army. So, we'll go ahead and... I'm just going to mobilize everybody. I don't want to mess about with this. I think Great Britain has a very high chance of getting involved in this. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring everyone in. Let's see. This is... kind of a main army of ours, so we'll put them there. Kandahar is requesting permit them control of their own market. I absolutely... Oh, interesting. So we've got a new breakdown here in the requests here. If accepted, would grant Kandahar control over their own market. Russian relations for Kandahar improved by 10. Decreases liberty desire by 30. If declined, relations deteriorate. Increases liberty desire. I'm going to accept because there's Persia between us and Kandahar, so they would have their own market anyway, functionally. Let's see, and I'm going to put one more army over here, and you know what, I'm going to put a third army over here as well. We're going to set the objective to Iraki Kajimi, which is, I believe, the capital. Yes, it is. Alright, perfect. That's going to get all of... Juan Alvarez exiled from Mexico. Okay. I'm watching closely here. I really do not desire for any other countries to be becoming involved here. You know what? We're going to put another army in this thing. I've got a ton of armies over here in... Oh, that one's a fleet. All right. Well, we won't put that there. We'll just put a bunch of armies here. We can get we can achieve a very good force comparison here. I think we're going to need... Please tell me I'm not running a bunch of units of irregular infantry. Okay, phew. Okay, we have line infantry going on. We're going to need to import some artillery, though. That just is what it is. So, artillery we can import from Prussia. Our friends in Prussia will sell us cannons. Austria will sell us cannons as well. This is costing us a little bit of cash, but not too much. That number is going to look a lot worse in a second when we continue to build up our construction sectors, because that's going to cost us a huge pile of cash. But that's all right. The intelligentsia want cultural exclusion. I am probably not going to give it to them. We got a lot of loyalists, though, I must say. High legitimacy and increases in standard of living. That's pretty good. Didn't expect running it as a personal fief of the Tsar to be productive in that way, but, you know, I'm pretty good. All right, 2 arms. No one is helping out Persia, so unless they can achieve some sort of hyper-fast war situation going on over there, we should be able to win this. Our first battle does appear to be a victory. It looks like they've got, I'm guessing, exclusively... Oh, no, they do have line infantry, but they also have irregular infantry mostly. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. They have cannon artillery. We have mobile artillery, which is the gold standard of artillery warfare in this time period. So I'm feeling pretty good overall. Artillery is still expensive, but it just kind of is what it is. I can't increase the organization of that fleet because I don't have the construction capacity right now. We are building at a good, healthy rate at this point. Oh, interesting. So, 2 events here. Defections to the Caucasian Imamate and secret societies. I'm going to do secret societies first because this is an older event that we've had in previous runs. Clandestine groups of academics in Moscow are plotting against the state to advance the misguided cause of the intelligentsia. We found your blasphemous and treasonous books, your pamphlets, the shops you used to run as a front, your houses, the meeting places you thought you had kept secret. We've set them all to flame. All that is left now is your confession. Leave them be, they pose no threat. 10% stronger intelligentsia, or dissent must be punished. 10% weaker intelligentsia, 20% of academics pops in Moscow become more radical. I'm going to do the second one. And now, defections to the Caucasian Imamate. The multinational nature of Shamil Murid's Imamate has proven irresistible to many of our subjects in Kuban. Officers and landowners alike have reported numerous defections to the Imamate. The mistreatment of our military deserters by the Chechens kept many unreliable soldiers, and especially the Poles, from running away. But if now they find out that the Shamil gives freedom to deserters, then I'm afraid that the runs will increase. I would think to keep the soldiers from escaping the first captured deserters to be shot. I, together with this, have ordered all private commanders to aggravate supervision of unreliable soldiers and report to me immediately about those who make an escape. Tighten security in the region to avert further defections. Reduced conscriptable battalions. Reduced morale recovery. 5% of servicemen pops become radical. -2 standard of living. Modifier North Caucasia to the Kuban Caucasian Imamate. Modifier for North Caucasian. North Caucasian, the cultures. Caucasian imamate gets faster training rate, increased conscriptable battalions, and reduced mortality of servicemen either way. So the first one gets us reduced conscriptable battalions, reduced morale recovery, 5% of servicemen pops, radical, and -2 standard of living. The second one, we still get the penalty to conscriptable battalions and the penalty to morale recovery, but the armed forces get -10% interest group attraction and -2 approval. I'm going to do the first one because I cannot have angry armed forces right now. Uh-oh. Are we good? We good? We not crashing? Okay, we're not crashing. Beautiful. Actually, about at 30 minutes. I'll probably cut it at the end of the year. Let's get this battle finished. Come on, I want to get some occupation over here. Hey, there we go. Wonderful. Alright, we're almost at Iraqi Kajami. This front is doing better, but if we can get a hold of Iraqi Kajami, we can pull this thing through, and I think we can do that. We have 3 events going on here. I'm just gonna pass it through over into January. Alright. The duel. Yevhen Hrebinka has challenged Pyotr Rekord to a duel to the death. The aura surrounding the two figures is like something out of a romantic novel. Pyotr Rekord smiles. He has been rehearsing this moment before falling asleep. Yevhen Hrebinka, you are a foolish fool. Your insults cannot go unanswered. Pick a weapon of choice, and we shall meet tomorrow. So this guy's the head of the rural folk. He's a moderate. I don't really care if he dies. Admiral Pyotr Rekord, he's an historical character, a reformer, who aligns with the armed forces. And the armed forces, he's not the leader of them, is he? No, he's not. You know what? Let them fight! Hrebinka died. Well, that's just fine. A foreign manifesto in Ingriad. The recently translated works of Abdullah Bendahara have become popular within the movement to enact cultural exclusion. The relationship has been developed to the point where Abdullah Bendahara openly endorses the movement. So this guy is an agitator and a general in exile. Interesting. And for a whole class, there is no other road, especially for a nation so eminently practical as the Russian. The great thing is to get the working class to move as a class. That once obtained, they will soon find the right direction, and all who resist will be left out in the cold with small sects of their own. Our struggle is an international one. 10 political movement support for cultural exclusion. Don't love that. Or the foreign interference needs to be punished. 10% reduced political movement support by 5, plus 10 movement radicalism. But the intelligentsia get weaker and angrier. You know what? We'll go with... Oh, that's a lot of interest group approval. I'm just going to go with the first one. I think we can tolerate having a slightly larger movement. And then whichever way forward. With the attitudes of the intelligentsia towards Prussia growing more apathetic, their leadership has begun to discuss reassessing the group's support for the Prussian-Russian Fellowship. Or sorry, I misread that. I apologize. The Russian-Prussian Fellowship. It was more difficult to get appointments at the Foreign Ministry these days. The initial interest that they'd inspired had long since waned, the lobby's activities falling into St. Petersburg's background noise. The intelligentsia were the first to lose interest, their representatives initially disheartened by an absence of news, and then no longer inclined to read the papers when they arrived. What reason do we have to care for the happenings in Berlin? The younger members challenged. The elders did not know how to respond. It is time for a change in course. Intelligentsia leaves the fellowship. Or why change something that works? They'll remain there. I'm going to say why change something that works, because I can score cheap points with the fellowship by improving relations with Prussia, a thing I want to do. In any case, that is a year of the great game. We're already getting scrappy in Persia and having fun doing stuff down in Southeast Asia. So I'm Southwest Asia rather. I'm already feeling pretty confident. We're already getting started. We're improving our resource base and working on getting our government admin issue sorted, and then a lot of things will be easier. So that's going to be the end of the episode. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun as well, and I will see you on the other side.